Unfortunately, there are times when your computer may shut down, your computer may freeze, the network goes down. I mean, all kinds of things can happen. And fortunately, there are some settings inside of Word that automatically recover your documents, but only if they've been saved at least once, so it has a file name, and if it's been within 10 minutes of the last save. Or if it hasn't, then whatever's been saved within the last 10 minutes of the last save will be able to be recovered. So I'll show you what that all means, but when you come into Word after something like that happens, you'll see recovered, Word is recovered files that you might want to keep, show recovered files, so you can click on that there. And what had happened, I had started working with the designs again for the company newsletter. So here's the original document, so I can click on that. So this is the way it started, but what I'd done is I had done some changes to that. So I'm going to show you that version here. Made some changes to the color and so forth. So which file do I want to save? You can hit the down arrow. Save as might be a good way to do it. You can go to this one and just close that one. Okay. What I really want is I want this one, so I'm just going to go ahead and do save as, and then I'm going to save it. See, it has auto save down here, and I'll probably make it a third version here, just so I can make sure I've still got it. And so I hit save. So that's a great thing to be able to do, because a lot of times you're working with stuff and those kinds of things happen. And if it hasn't been within the last 10 minutes, by default, you could have lost all of that work. So one thing to know is that if you go into the File tab and down into Options, you have a Save section here. And the reason Auto Recover works is because Save Auto Recover information every 10 minutes. And keep the last autosave version if I close without saving. Okay, so what happens is that if you start to work on a document, but you haven't saved it at all, it's not going to be there because it hasn't saved it. Okay, or after 10 minutes, it's going to auto recover any document that you're working on that has already been saved. I mean, it has a file name to it. So one of the things you want to be doing is you want to be saving your documents very early, and know that every 10 minutes that's going to auto-save for you. Now, if that's not fast enough, let's say that you type a lot and do a lot within a short period of time, you can change that to 5 minutes so that it saves it in a faster period of time. Be aware that depending on how good your computer is as far as storage and memory and speed, every time it saves, it may pause for a second to save it. It may pause for a long time because it has a lot to save. So if you're in like a 400 page document, saving that often may not be a good thing to do because it's got to save that whole thing again. So just be aware of that. If you see a lot of slowdowns, sometimes that's what's going on. Auto recover file location, so that tells you where it's going to be. So if you going, you know what, I wonder if that it still has, my Axe design section, and it doesn't look like it's already been recovered, so it's not going to be there. But that's where it'll list there by default. So a good thing to know that if you've saved it at least once and you're within your time frame, you'll have an auto recover version available, which is great because you may do a lot within those 10 minutes.